Picture this: October 27, 1962. The height of the Cuban Missile Crisis. The world is holding its breath, teetering on the absolute brink of nuclear annihilation. Tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union are stretched so tight a single wrong move could shatter everything. Most of us know the story of Kennedy and Khrushchev, the public face of this standoff. But the real story, the one that truly saved us all, happened deep beneath the waves of the Atlantic, in a place of crushing pressure and suffocating heat. This is the story of the Soviet submarine B-59. For days, the crew had been cut off from Moscow, submerged and silent. They were completely isolated, with no way of knowing if World War III had already started above them. All they knew was that they were surrounded. U.S. Navy destroyers were circling, a wolf pack hunting its prey. And then the explosions began. Concussion after concussion rocked the submarine's hull. These were practice depth charges, signals from the U.S. ships trying to force B-59 to the surface. But down in the dark, the crew didn't know they were practice rounds. To them, it wasn't attack, it was war. Imagine the scene inside that steel tube. The air conditioners had failed. Temperatures soared past 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Carbon dioxide levels were dangerously high, the air thick and unbreathable. Claustrophobia and exhaustion were setting in. Panic was spreading like a virus through the cramped compartments. The captain of the submarine, Valentin Savitsky, was convinced the war had begun. He believed they were under a full-scale assault and that their families back home might already be gone. And B-59 wasn't just any submarine. It was carrying a secret weapon, a single torpedo with a nuclear warhead. It was a special weapon, as they called it, with the destructive power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Firing it would have instantly vaporized the entire U.S. naval fleet above them, including the aircraft carrier USS Randolph. Such an act would have been an undeniable declaration of nuclear war, triggering an immediate and catastrophic response from the United States. The dominoes would fall, leading to a full-scale thermonuclear exchange that would have ended civilization as we know it. The protocol to launch this apocalyptic weapon was clear, but it was designed for a moment just like this. It required the unanimous consent of the 3 senior officers on board: the captain, the political officer, and the flotilla commander, who happened to be on B-59 for this mission. Overwhelmed by the heat, the stress, and the concussions of the depth charges, Captain Savitsky gave the order. He wanted to launch the nuclear torpedo. The political officer, Ivan Maslenikov, agreed. 2 out of 3. The fate of the world now rested on the shoulders of one man. His name was Vasily Arkhipov. He was the flotilla commander and second-in-command of the submarine. Unlike the others, Arkhipov kept his head. He was known for his calm and level-headed demeanor, even under extreme pressure. As the other 2 officers argued for launching, Arkhipov stood firm. He counseled caution. He argued that the depth charges were signals, not attacks. He pointed out that they had received no direct orders from Moscow to fire. He insisted that launching a nuclear weapon without definitive proof that war had started was an unthinkable gamble. A furious argument broke out in the tiny control room. The captain screamed at Arkhipov, accusing him of cowardice, but Arkhipov would not back down. He understood the stakes. He knew that one word from him would unleash hell on earth, and in that moment of ultimate crisis, trapped in a boiling metal coffin miles from home, he said no. His calm defiance, his refusal to give in to panic, was the only thing standing between humanity and oblivion. He persuaded the captain to surface the submarine and await orders. When B-59 finally broke the surface, it was met by the American warships, but not with fire and destruction. The crisis was still ongoing, but the world was not yet at war. The submarine's crew learned that diplomacy was still happening. By surfacing, they had de-escalated the most dangerous single moment of the entire Cold War. Vasily Arkhipov's decision had averted disaster. For his actions, he received no medals. There was no public parade, no recognition from his government. In fact, his superiors were reportedly displeased with his refusal to follow the captain's initial inclination. His story remained secret for decades. Most of the world, and even most of his own country, never knew how close they came to obliteration, or the name of the man who saved them. It was until years later that historians pieced together what happened and realized the magnitude of his decision. Thomas Blanton, director of the U.S. National Security Archive, would later say that one man saved the world. Vasily Arkhipov died in 1998, a quiet hero whose legacy is the world we live in today. His story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest courage isn't found in acts of aggression, but in a simple, defiant, and world-saving no. It shows that even in the darkest of times, one person's calm judgment can change the course of history. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I did, please like the video and subscribe for more hidden histories. See you next time.